Autumn winds blew down the quiet street, on which Evelyn Hamilton's new house resided. It was her grandmother's house, really, as old as the lady herself, yet now it was also home to Evelyn and her mom. Her parents' divorce had left them with few options, and so they had come to start a new life away from everything that had gone wrong for them in the past. At the tender age of 17, though, Evelyn was finding the adjustment a bit hard. She was a good girl, dark-haired, green-eyed, and athletic to boot. She hadn't figured this new change in life would be so hard. A new place to call home, a new school to attend, and a whole new town to explore. Yet now, just as the school year had begun to settle in, an old problem reared its ugly head: bedwetting. As a young child, she had dealt with the issue for some time, and now in the midst of everything else going on, her old problem had returned. At first, it had been but a minor inconvenience, happening but once that first week after the move. Yet now, as time went on, more frequent were her nighttime accidents. It was dinner time at the house now, and she sat idly eating the evening meal with her mother and grandmother, not saying a word. She felt foolish in their presence after waking up wet the past 4 mornings in a row. She was 17 years old, for goodness sake. The last time it had happened this frequently, she had been 9. "So how was school today, Evelyn?" asked her mother, wanting to break the awkward silence among the dinner table. "Fine," answered Evelyn, not wanting to talk. There was more silence after that, as only tension filled the room until again her mother spoke. "So I've been thinking about your little bedtime problem," she began, and Evelyn cringed at hearing the term bedtime problem, for that was what they called it when she was little. "And well," she added, looking over to her own mother for support, "we both think that for the time being maybe you should wear some protection when you go to bed." "What?" exclaimed Evelyn, looking up from her meal. "Mom, I'm 17 years old, for Christ's sake. And you're wetting the bed like a little girl. Look, we just can't have you ruining the mattress with this," said her mother, trying to calm her down. "It's just a bit of an off thing," said Evelyn, defending herself. "It was the first time, maybe," began her mother, "but the past 4 nights it's happened," she pointed out to her daughter. "You're just under a lot of stress right now. We know, we all are. In time it will pass, and things will get better, I promise. But for now, please." "Fine," sneered Evelyn, knowing deep down that her mother was right, and that there was no real point in trying to argue with her. "Good then. Your grandmother was able to pick up a pack for you to start wearing tonight. We'll get you settled before bed," said her mother, finishing up what was left on her plate. The rest of the evening went off without a hitch. Evelyn finished up dinner, did a bit of her homework, then decided to watch a little television with her grandmother while her mom went about some of her own business. Around 10 o'clock, however, her mother came downstairs and asked for Evelyn to come up with her. "But Mom, it's only 10, said Evelyn, whining a little. "I don't want to hear it tonight, Evelyn. We'd best get you ready for bed." With effort from her grandmother as well, Evelyn again gave up her fight against them and proceeded to follow her mother upstairs to her bedroom. It was there that she found upon her bed an unopened pack of the protection her grandmother had picked up for her. As a child, she had worn goodnights a few times during her heavy bedwetting phase, and to some degree, that was what she expected when she learned that she would in fact be again relying on special underwear, as her mother had called it, for protection. However, what lay before her on her bed wasn't a pack of simple pull-ups she could easily fess up to wearing, but instead a bright green package that read "Adult Diapers," and had a picture of an old lady smiling on it. "Mom!" yelled Evelyn, picking up the package and examining it. "These are freaking diapers!" "Well, Evelyn," began her mother, hoping to calm her daughter down. "Yes, they are. You're too big for what you used to wear back when you were a little girl, and these are the best we could find." "You've got to be kidding," replied Evelyn. "Nope," stated her mother. "Now you can either get yourself ready for bed, or you can let me do it if you think you can't handle it." Evelyn huffed in reply. Having to wear diapers at her age would be hard enough, but she'd be damned if she was going to be changed like a baby. "I'll do it myself," she said, sighing. "I'll leave you to it then," said her mother, and with that she gave Evelyn a few other supplies and then left her daughter's room to give her some privacy. With the door closed, Evelyn dropped the package down on the bed and began undress. She hated having to do what she was doing. She ripped open the plastic pack and pulled a diaper out. She held the folded garment in her hand for a moment. With a long sigh, she unfolded it and laid it on the bed. Brushing aside the package, she made room for herself to take a seat, and with another long sigh, she began to fasten the diaper to her naked torso. It was tricky having to fasten the tapes by herself, but under no circumstances would she call for her mother's help. With time and a little adjustment, she was able to secure a snug fit. Going over to her dresser, she was thrown off by the way the diaper impeded her movement, and the crinkle noise it made with every slight move. She picked out a pink tank top and a pair of pajama pants, only to decide against them and wear just the top instead. She caught herself in the mirror then, and there, clad in only a diaper and a pink tank top, she gave herself a once-over. She found the image looking back at her ridiculous. Here she was, a girl nearly an adult, wearing a diaper to bed. As if being the new girl in school hadn't been hard enough, if word of this ever got out, she'd never live it down. She fiddled with her hair then, forgetting briefly her diapered state, until her mom knocked on her door. "Come in," she called matter-of-factly, and her mother entered the room. "Well, you don't look so bad," she said upon seeing her diaper-clad daughter. "Save it," stated Evelyn, looking at her mother through the mirror. She turned and then made her way over to the bed. "Now look," began her mother, picking up the open package Evelyn had left out. "I know it's not fair, but it's for the best," she added, taking the package and placing it under the bed just as she had when Evelyn was a little girl. "But the doctor told me, after you had started staying dry at night, that if you were ever under stress again, then your problem would probably return." "I know," sighed Evelyn, pulling back the covers of her bed. She climbed in and scooted her way over to where her mother stood. "Just take it easy and don't worry so much. What happened wasn't your fault. In time, you'll sleep dry again. Just wait, I promise." "I know, Mom. I just hate this," she said, suddenly feeling the need to hold back tears. Her mom gave her a hug and comfort then, and the two exchanged goodnight kisses before her mom left Evelyn to get some sleep. She found a speck of humor about being tucked into bed while wearing a diaper, and couldn't help but laugh a little as she turned off the light by her bed. She found it hard to sleep, though, as the diaper proved terribly bulky between her legs, and made a loud crinkle sound whenever she moved. Soon, though, she found herself at ease, and softly she went off to sleep. No sooner had she been asleep, however, when suddenly a chill wind blew across her slumbering body, waking her up. Having only been asleep for what seemed to be a moment, she awoke to find she was no longer alone in the room. For there was a figure at the foot of her bed, and she soon found that her first impulse, once realizing that it was, in fact, not her mother or grandmother, was to scream. Only she couldn't. Instead, she merely marveled at the presence of this stranger who had apparently come in through her window, as more of the moonlight revealed him to her. He wore a coat that blended with the night sky outside, with tails that hung to the back of his knees. His shirt was ruffled at the collar, and the cuffs stuck out from his jacket sleeves. Elegant was hardly the word to describe him. It was as though he came from old money, though the money would clearly be not of this world. For when Evelyn got a look at his face, she noticed how inhumanly handsome he was, though his eyes were covered by a thin black mask. The rest of his face appeared as regal as his outfit. His ears stuck out from under the silver hair he had, giving him an elfish appearance. "Hello," he said to the girl in bed. Evelyn said nothing in reply, still waiting for a scream to come. The man laughed at the petrified girl before him. "Fear not, Evelyn, for I mean not to scare you. In fact, on the quite contrary, I have something for you." "What?" said the girl, sitting up in her bed, confused. She held tight to her sheets for fear of being exposed. "It's an invitation, dear," said the mystery man, smiling. "To what?" asked Evelyn, figuring that this all was just some weird dream and no longer wanting to scream. "The Bedwetter's Ball, dear, the ball," replied the man in the mask. "What ball?" asked Evelyn. "And who the hell are you? And how did you get into my room?" She found the questions pouring out easier now, yet still she was unable to scream. "The Bedwetter's Ball, dear," stated the masked man. "You are a bedwetter, aren't you?" he asked as if the question bore no meaning whatsoever. End of chapter 1. Do you want me to continue?